Howdy folks, Scott Doonican here from the Bar-Steward Sons of Doonican. I've just taken a parcel off our postman and I'm extremely excited about what's inside it. Some of you may have seen us live in Festival Fields, and whenever you've seen us you may have seen me do something like this.
Yeah. Crop Ready, are you ready for the first time some South Yorkshire hip hop has come to Crop Ready? Turn it up! Here we go!
And you may be wondering actually how I can do that just from hitting a button on the stage, and that's thanks to a wonderful thing called the BakTrak. Let's take a look. So here it is, BakTrak, the ultimate MP3 backing track pedal. It actually plays MP3 and WAV, as you can see. This is the brand new SFX, the BTS 1010 BSBC. I don't know what those actual things mean, but let's have a look inside. So here we go. This is what we got. We've got a little SD card reader. I've gone to this. Part of the final test procedure is to test BakTrak with the micro SD card. So the card is actually in the reader, in the pedal, and the lock on the SD adapter is a software write protect leave it off. So see info how to remove it and insert it. I actually do know how to do this just because I've also got an earlier version of the BakTrak. Also we got in the package what appears to be, hang on, let's try and unravel these. Yeah, that's what I kind of thought. We've got different European, American, some kind of shaver socket version, and the typical British 3-pin plug, which I'm guessing goes along with this lovely little tiny power adapter. Hang on, just bear with me. So these people that do these unboxing videos usually have an assistant, I'm guessing, but yeah, basically I'm guessing that just slots straight into there, like so. No, hang on, must go the other way. So just slides, clips into there like that, and there you go. That's the power cable. So that also comes with it, and then there's the actual pedal itself, which comes in a little plastic bag. There's the actual unit itself, which looks very hard-wearing, made out of metal, and I can get to a bank of instructions. Let's have a closer look. So the actual pedal itself has buttons going up and down here, an LCD screen, it's got volume level, it's got 12 different banks for putting your tracks on, and 12 different tracks on each of those banks, and you've got a start and stop button. And then on the back you've got a 9-volt DC power supply, so that you can run it off any normal pedal supplies if you wanted to. It's got an out audio, and it's got an in, so that if you want to run I don't know, some music through there, so you can have a listen to it, or you can actually run your guitar through it as well, so that you don't have to use as many channels. You can do that. And obviously it's got a slot for a trigger pedal, which I'll tell you more about in a bit. It's all very hardware. It's got little rubber strips on the bottom, so that it doesn't slide about. Obviously, if this is a proper hard metal housing as well, so it's not going to get smashed up. Anyway, I'm going to go and plug it in. So when you come to plug it in, you stick your little 9-volt thing in there, and then it comes up with this. So the SD is okay, and it's logging the tracks. So you've got a virtual track display. So I'm guessing that at the minute it's doing things. So it says track 1 is not a valid track in this particular bank. Track 2, track 3, so on, and this will be because at the minute it hasn't got any tracks on it. So what I've done is, because I already own an earlier version of the BakTrak, I've prepared on my screen all of my usual files that I would use on this kind of thing. So I'm going to basically just copy them onto the SD card, which is in the side there. I'm just going to take that out. I'm going to copy them to there. I'll be back in a minute. So the next little touch on this is that on the actual card itself, whenever you go onto the card, you get some backing tracks if you want to play with them, but also loads of documents that give you instructions and, you know, all sorts of information about the BakTrak as well. As it is, I'm going to just transfer this over onto my desktop so that I can actually get in and put some tracks straight on the BakTrak. So I've now cleared the BakTrak of any of the stuff, and I'm literally going to drag and drop everything onto there. It's now copying all of those things onto the BakTrak, and it reckons it'll be a couple of minutes for doing that. So I have now put the SD card back at the side, little micro SD. I'm going to just move these little plugs and stuff out of the way now. That's the adapter, I'll just start there. And I've got a jack, which is basically going to my sound interface, which you can obviously, there we go, you could use that for an amp or whatever. And basically you can select using the track. So I've labelled all of my individual tracks. So if I want my introduction tape, I just press play.
2 million records sold.
You can turn that down.
Nigeria.
I'll turn it up.
Declared a public nuisance in 23 British cities.
You get the idea. So you can start and stop just like that. Select a different track just like that. What I think's great as well is as you finish your track, so if you press play, it comes to an end naturally. You stop it, it then moves on to the next track, so that it's ready for a set list. So, and obviously, if you want, want to replay something, you can select. You can also select it from here as well, so you can see the actual things changing. And obviously, there's lots of different banks of different things on different tracks. Now, as it is for me, I mean,
Come on then, you yellow bastards!
I use it for all sorts of different things. I use it for sound bites, I use it for backing tracks, intro tapes. So this is me and Beyond's intro tape.
6 zillion albums sold!
That kind of thing. We've got, what else have we got on here? Sound bites. We use it for, if anybody's ever seen us live, you'll sometimes see us do jump around. We trigger it that way. And the great thing is you can go up and down the banks. So going up, going down, or you can literally select the banks from here. I mean, even down to the fact that if there isn't a track on a particular track, so at the minute it's saying there isn't one on 84, 85, all them lot. So I mean, I've even got mixtapes, so that when we're in between sets, say for example we're doing a show and we want some music on in between, I put like a bunch of mixtapes on there that are like 40 minutes long or whatever.
Oh, you don't take me home tonight.
Other bands are available, Chaz and Dave, whatever. I mean, we've got the options are very wide and varied, but I've got what I have done for me personally while I was planning all this out, because my old BakTrak used to just have 4 banks, whereas this one's got 12. So I've been planning out what was going to go on each thing. So I did that last night before this arrived, and obviously in amongst all of the stuff that's on the SD card, they do have a little plan so that you can map these things out for yourselves. I mean, obviously 144 tracks is a lot of tracks, and I mean it's going to take me a long time to even consider filling that, though I do know that I will be adding a completely different show to these 3 banks at a later date. So I mean, it is quite simply a case of, that isn't flashing by the way, that is just because of the angle of my camera at the minute, but it isn't actually strobing like it looks like it's doing there. You can literally That is exactly how it works. Dead simple. I'm going to also show you in a minute how I use it live. So for anybody that's ever seen our band live, you will know that generally I have a fear of forgetting my words. So I always have an iPad on stage. Usually from the front everybody just sees this, which is the stand, and usually I've got a couple of uke stands attached to it, so it does function as a multi-stand in its own right. Now what I have done, I've got a little three-way USB plug that I got from IKEA, just mounted that straight on there. That serves three purposes. First of all, powering the iPad. Secondly, powering a little light so that I can light up my BakTrak and be able to see it in the dark. Gigs where it's dark, but obviously now that we've got a little LCD display, that is a lot easier as well. And then I mount it onto this. Now basically I've just velcroed this on, but this is actually another one of those uke stands, just upturned, gaffered together with a bit of card on top and a bit of velcro, and I've attached it, and I've also attached a little DI box straight underneath it, a little tiny one from I think it's Orchid DIs, and it means that then I can then just send signals straight out of the out, straight into the DI box, and then into the XLR and off to the desk, which is nice and easy. I also have a little 9-volt power supply, which is actually BakTrak supply these. They've done, this is a brilliant piece of kit, a little converter. So they do like a 9-volt converter. You plug that straight into your USB. I mean, obviously you've got the normal power supply that comes with it, but you know, it doesn't break the bank, and that is just, you know, everything's self-contained. I don't have to carry loads of extra stuff, and obviously at the minute it's now working out what tracks it's got and where it's got them. The final thing that I do is I also get a little trigger pedal, and what I do, there's a mono jack. They do provide, if you go to BakTrak website, they do have their own trigger pedal, but what I have found that I quite like is the fact that obviously depending on what stage you're on, depends on how long you want your lead to be, and sometimes that can be too long, so I've got a shorter version of that just for practicality's sake, and that actually goes to another mono jack here, and this a little trigger pedal. And what I've done with mine is whenever we're doing gigs and I say to somebody, you know, say for example we're at a festival and I say we've got an intro tape, can you start it, and they'll go, how do you do it? I just say press the button that says this one, and because I've labelled that up, it's really easy, and then just hit that, and as soon as you do, that starts the track running and off it goes. So you can do that kind of thing nice and easy. All of this is incredible stuff. I really can't rate the BakTrak pedal enough in terms of how it's revolutionised our sound. I mean, for a long time I used the original BakTrak, which obviously you can see I customised mine. It's very cool because it's got Scott Doonican on it himself, and as you can see, it's exactly the same. The only difference with this version is that it only had 4 banks, and then you had four banks of loop station, and then 4 for backing. Exactly the same controls at the back, and exactly the same functionality. The only difference is it hasn't got the up and down function and the screen, but it works in exactly the same way. I mean, you can see how much it's been used. It is covered in grass and stuff from festival fields. This pedal has done over 600 shows. It is rock solid. I don't think it's ever going to pack up on me, so it's simply a case that I will be keeping this. I'm not getting rid of it. It will be put in my gig bag for gigs where I don't need to be carting really heavy extra stuff around. But I mean, obviously not that heavy. I'm just saying, you know, for the ease of packing that versus that, you know, there are some gigs where that will be useful still. But I'm really excited about taking this out for a test spin at this weekend's gigs. So there you go, the new SFX BakTrak pedal, and I don't believe that they've launched this yet as I do this video, so I'm one of the first people probably to have got the hands on one. It's incredible stuff. Massive shout out to Keith and Susie at BakTrak, and yeah, go and check them out, they're really cool.